we have got a genuinely emotional, information-packed update straight from the offensive coordinator's own press conference at Washington Commanders training camp, and this one hits a little differently than most. We are talking about a gut punch injury to a key starter, an emotional reaction from the very coach who has to figure out how to replace him. A fascinating behind-the-scenes look at exactly how difficult it is to install a brand-new offense from scratch, and enough Stefon Diggs praise to make every single Commanders fan giddy with excitement. So settle in, because this is one of those press conferences that genuinely gives you a window into the real human side of professional football, not just the highlight reels. Let's start with the news that clearly weighed heaviest on everybody in that media room, because the offensive coordinator was asked directly how a significant injury to a veteran left tackle named Larry changes the plan for this entire offense, and his answer was refreshingly honest and emotional. Rather than immediately pivoting into coach speak about next man up mentality, he led with genuine sympathy for his injured player, expressing how incredibly bummed out he is for him personally. He specifically praised Larry for being everything this coaching staff has asked of him over the past year and a half, and he did not shy away from admitting that losing a player of that caliber is simply hard. Full stop. There was no attempt to spin this into some silver lining moment right out of the gate. It was an honest, human acknowledgement that this hurts. But once that genuine empathy was expressed, the coordinator did pivot into explaining exactly how this offense plans to adjust and move forward, because that is simply the nature of professional football. He explained that this coaching staff genuinely believes in a next-man-up philosophy, and rather than dwelling on what was lost, the plan is to keep plugging away and adapting. He acknowledged that certain elements of the offensive game plan will inevitably need to change without Larry in the lineup, but he expressed complete and total trust in the player stepping up to fill that void. A young left tackle named Brandon, who has reportedly been playing increasingly well at that position over the past several years. The coordinator made it clear that while there is genuine sadness surrounding Larry's situation, there is also real excitement about the opportunity this now presents for Brandon to take on a bigger role and showcase exactly what he can do. And when pressed further on exactly what specific traits make Brandon such a trustworthy option to step into that starting role, the coordinator did not hold back his praise. He explained that when you watch the film, Brandon's speed and athleticism jump off the screen almost immediately, the kind of player who is constantly seen chasing down plays and flashing elite physical tools regardless of what specific assignment he is running. Beyond the raw physical traits, the coordinator also spoke to Brandon's growth and development as a young player, referencing everything he has been through since being forced into significant playing time during his rookie season and the different experiences he accumulated throughout the following year. According to the coordinator, once the coaching staff informed Brandon that he was going to be elevated into the starting left tackle role, his reaction was one of pure eagerness, lighting up at the opportunity in front of him. The coordinator summed it up by stating plainly that Brandon has already demonstrated everything the coaching staff is looking for in a player capable of protecting that crucial blind side position. Now let's shift gears into a genuinely fascinating behind-the-scenes topic, because reporters pressed the coordinator on exactly what he has personally learned throughout these first couple weeks of training camp about the process of installing a brand new offensive system for the very first time as a first-year offensive coordinator. His answer offered a genuinely candid, almost vulnerable look into the mental challenge of building something from scratch at the highest level of professional football. He admitted that he walked into this opportunity with a long list of ideas and concepts he would love to eventually implement, but explained that this entire stretch of camp has really been about discovering who this offense fundamentally is at its core. That means figuring out exactly what this unit collectively does well, what the starting quarterback excels at, what the various skill position players bring to the table, and honestly assessing what the offensive line can and cannot handle up front. He was refreshingly transparent about the reality of that process, admitting there have been moments where he walks into a particular practice fully intending to work through an entire installation sheet of new concepts, only to realize partway through that the fundamentals simply need more repetition first. That creates a constant internal negotiation of sorts, deciding in real time whether to circle back and reinforce something or continue pushing forward into new material. He described navigating that exact tension throughout roughly the first 10 or 11 practices of this training camp, calling it a process filled with plenty of valuable lessons, but overall a genuinely positive one. One of the most fascinating threads of this entire press conference involved the significant adjustment this offense is asking of its starting quarterback, a young signal caller named Jayden, who has been logging considerably more snaps working from under center this training camp compared to his college background, which leaned far more heavily on shotgun formations. Reporters specifically asked how much of an adjustment that kind of transition truly represents, touching on everything from footwork mechanics to overall play timing. The coordinator, drawing on his own past experience as a former quarterback himself, gave a genuinely impressive answer regarding Jayden's progress. He revealed that this coaching staff tracks literally every single throw Jayden has made over the past 3 years using detailed metrics, giving them hard statistical evidence to measure exactly how he is performing throughout this transition. According to those numbers, Jayden has not missed a beat whatsoever, currently completing passes at as high a rate as he ever has throughout his tracked career and grading out as accurate as he has ever been. The coordinator framed this entire situation as a genuine testament to asking a talented young player to do something completely different from his comfort zone and watching him respond with real growth and evolution. He even offered a broader, forward-looking perspective on the identity of this offense as a whole, stating plainly that the version of this offense fans are watching right now will not be the same version they see next year, or in seasons beyond that, emphasizing that continuous evolution is simply built into the DNA of how this coaching staff wants to operate. He closed that particular answer by expressing genuine pride in Jayden specifically for the work he has put into mastering this new element of his game. The conversation then shifted toward the offensive line shuffling happening as a direct result of the Larry injury situation, with reporters specifically asking about how both Brandon and another lineman named Andrew looked in their slightly elevated roles during that particular practice session. The coordinator offered a genuinely candid answer about the limitations of evaluating live action from the sideline in real time compared to reviewing detailed film later, but based on his live impressions, he described the protection, the completion rate, and the overall timing of getting the football out of Jayden's hands as feeling clean throughout that particular session. He made clear that a full, detailed film evaluation would still need to happen before drawing any firm conclusions, but the initial, in-the-moment read was genuinely encouraging. Reporters also asked about a different but equally fascinating storyline, specifically how facing an aggressive, constantly shifting defensive scheme throughout training camp, courtesy of the team's own defensive coordinator, has helped shape and sharpen this offense heading into the regular season. The coordinator's answer revealed genuine respect and even gratitude for exactly how difficult that in-house competition has been. He explained that the defensive staff has made absolutely everything as challenging as humanly possible, presenting a brand new challenge nearly every single day of camp. He specifically praised how that constant pressure forces every single player on his offense to think critically and truly understand what the defense is trying to accomplish schematically on any given play. According to the coordinator, that is precisely the value and power of practicing daily against an attacking, aggressive-style defense, because it has genuinely pushed his entire offensive unit forward in terms of communication and overall growth as a cohesive group. And now, for the storyline every single Commanders fan watching this press conference was truly waiting to hear about, Stefon Diggs. A reporter directly asked the coordinator what having a proven, established veteran receiver like Diggs actually changes about how he can now approach building his offensive playbook, specifically noting the difference between previously needing a combination of multiple different players to accomplish a certain role versus now having one single dominant weapon capable of handling that. Responsibility on his own. The coordinator's response was glowing, and it revealed just how much of an immediate impact Diggs has already made in an incredibly short window of time. He explained that Diggs brings a genuine element of experience, savvy, and an advanced understanding of timing and leverage that comes from having played so much meaningful, high-stakes football throughout his career and accumulated such an enormous amount of receiving yardage along the way. But beyond the pure on-field talent, the coordinator specifically highlighted something that goes far beyond statistics, revealing that even after only 3 practices with this team, the entire coaching staff and locker room could already genuinely feel his leadership presence. According to the coordinator, Diggs has been actively bringing his new teammates together and openly challenging everyone around him to keep pushing forward and elevating their collective standard. And in case anyone doubted whether that leadership translated to actual on-field production this early in the process, the coordinator was quick to point out that Diggs had reportedly hauled in at least 2 or 3 catches during that very practice session alone, following up on a performance just the day before where he brought in 4 catches. According to the coordinator, that consistent production comes down to something simple yet incredibly valuable. The football simply finds Diggs because he has such an innate ability to find open space on the field. Diggs was not the only receiver generating genuine buzz during this press conference either, because reporters also asked specifically about a different pass catcher named Bill, who has apparently been picking up a significant number of receptions working out in the flat during recent practices. The coordinator used that specific question as an opportunity to explain a broader philosophical point about how this entire offense is designed to operate. He explained that with all 5 eligible receivers on the field at any given time, defensive coverage ultimately dictates exactly where the football needs to go on any particular play, and he pointed out that broader league trends have increasingly rewarded softer, more spread-out coverage shells. In that kind of environment, having reliable underneath receivers who can catch the football, break tackles in space, and ultimately help get the ball into the hands of an offense's very best playmakers becomes an enormously valuable weapon. According to the coordinator, Bill fits perfectly into that exact philosophy, and he specifically praised Bill's demonstrated ability to catch the football away from his body, stating that the coaching staff has been genuinely pleased with his continued development in that specific area of his game. One particularly fascinating, almost intimate detail that emerged from this press conference involved the coordinator's own personal routine before practice truly ramps up into its more structured position group and team drill segments. A reporter had apparently noticed him consistently spending significant time working directly with the quarterback room during that early window before practice fully gets underway, and asked him to elaborate on exactly why that specific time investment matters so much to him. His answer offered a genuinely warm, personal glimpse into his own football background and priorities as a play caller. He admitted that spending time with the quarterbacks is probably where he feels most comfortable, drawing on both his recent experience over the past 2 years in this specific role, as well as essentially his entire life around the game of football. But beyond simple comfort, he emphasized the practical importance of that time, explaining that it is absolutely critical for the player ultimately pulling the trigger on every single play call to see everything on that call sheet exactly the same way he does as the play caller. Even something as small as one quick tweak or adjustment can get ironed out during that window before the team heads out to actually execute those concepts on the practice field. He also did not shy away from admitting the simple, human element of that time investment, stating plainly that he genuinely enjoys spending time with those quarterbacks. some of whom he has grown quite close with personally over the past several years working together. Finally, the press conference circled back once more to Diggs, this time specifically focused on his reputation as one of the most reliable chain-moving receivers in all of football, particularly on critical third-down situations. A reporter asked exactly what having that kind of proven, trusted weapon available on third down truly means for Jayden as a young quarterback, and additionally, what kind of ripple effect it might have on the team's existing number one receiver, a player named Terry, simply by virtue of opposing defenses now being forced to account for legitimate playmaking talent on both sides of the offensive formation. The coordinator's answer was direct and full of genuine confidence. He explained that Diggs has drilled this specific skill throughout his entire career, consistently proving himself as a true go-to option who reliably moves the chains no matter the situation. Because of that established track record, the coordinator confirmed that this coaching staff will absolutely continue setting up situations specifically designed to feature Diggs as a priority target in those critical high-leverage moments. But he was also quick to point out that opportunities will naturally present themselves across the entire receiver room as the season unfolds. Whether that means Diggs, Terry, another receiver referenced simply as Jig, the aforementioned flat-catching specialist Bill, or any other player fighting for touches within that talented group. The expectation across the board, according to the coordinator, is that every single one of these players needs to be fully prepared and ready to capitalize the moment their specific opportunity arrives. But make no mistake, based on everything shared throughout this entire press conference, Stefon Diggs is clearly poised to move the chains for this football team on a very regular basis throughout the upcoming season. So there you have it, football fans. A genuinely emotional, information-dense look inside the mind of the man calling the plays for this Washington Commanders offense. A gut-wrenching injury update delivered with genuine, unguarded empathy for the player affected. A rising young left tackle receiving a full endorsement and vote of confidence to step into a significantly larger role. A refreshingly honest look at exactly how difficult and layered the process of installing a brand new offensive system truly is at the highest level of professional football. Confirmation, backed by hard data that the starting quarterback's transition into more under-center work has not slowed him down in the slightest. And perhaps most exciting of all for this passionate fan base, overwhelming, glowing praise for Stefon Diggs, both as an immediate on-field difference-maker and as a genuine locker room leader, after only a handful of practices in a Commander's uniform. Between the adversity of losing a key starter and the excitement of watching a superstar veteran seamlessly fold into this offense, this press conference painted a genuinely vivid, human picture of exactly what life inside an NFL training camp looks like. The highs, the lows, and everything in between. So now, it is your turn. And we absolutely want to hear what you think about everything covered in this update. Are you confident that Brandon is ready to step in and hold down that crucial left tackle spot in Larry's absence? Does knowing that Jayden Daniels' underlying metrics have not dipped at all during his transition to more under-center work put your mind at ease heading into the season? And after hearing the coordinator rave about Stefon Diggs' leadership and instant chemistry after just a few practices, how many receiving yards do you think he ends up putting up this season? Drop your predictions and honest reactions down in the comments section below, because we absolutely love hearing from every single one of you. If this deep dive into the mind of this Commanders offensive coordinator gave you a genuinely fresh perspective on everything happening behind the scenes at training camp, do us a favor and smash that like button. It truly makes a massive difference in helping this channel reach even more dedicated fans just like yourself. And if you have not already hit that subscribe button, now is absolutely the perfect time to do it, because we are going to be right here bringing you every single practice update, every coaching insight, and every bit of behind-the-scenes access all the way through this incredibly promising season. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the very next video.